Send out a tweet, let everybody know we're live and ready to go. Let's not. Back streets back. Okay, so looks like we're good to go out there. So before we get started, we'll wait a few minutes, people get in. But how do you guys feel about things with standard actually being a real thing? I've been playing on MTGO and it's pretty freaking sweet. Well, it's my only way of testing for GPs, right? Like I could, well, it's not just for competition, but like getting cards. Like, God, dude, I gotta grind so many hours to get freaking wild cards. Really? I mean, I like Arena. I just haven't had an opportunity to spend time with it because I went from practicing for GP Detroit and then I wanted to take a break and then now I'm like right into going from modern to standard and it's like making those switches is really, man, that's a pain. It's a royal pain. So, I understand that. And that's fair. I mean, I think for me, excuse me, like I think it's my only true way of actually practicing for GPs. All right. Let's go ahead and we'll just get started. Because what I'm gonna do is this will be on DVR and I'll cut it up later and have a nice video later. Okay, so 8:36. Okay, tonight, first off, we not only have the return to Ravnica, whatever. How many times we've returned to Ravnica now, right? But we have the return of me to YouTube, which is great, and I have some great guests to help me sort of celebrate that and celebrate Ravnica. And let's talk about everything competitive Magic, meaning the changes, which is very interesting. And I think we have a wide variety of people to sort of give different perspectives on it. First, let me introduce my guest this evening. First, Coach, the Card Bazaar, who is best known for his card anthology series that kind of highlights some of the most notable cards in each set in the Magic history. And he started a series recently that I'm really into, which is it basically covers the top 100 best performing cards throughout Magic history. Welcome, Coach. Thank you for coming back on. How you doing today? Good. Nice. Sweet. Well, I'll definitely look forward to that. I like your I like those videos because you do a really good job at just like covering all the bases, which is really cool. So next, I want to welcome a new gentleman who I really enjoy hanging out in his streams. John from his YouTube channel called They Said We Said. He's best known for, well, I should say, I feel like he's best known for his MTG Hive Mind series, which is really fun to hang out with. MTG 10 Street Hooligans, which is pretty cool, as well as Coach. I think you're often a guest on that show as well. and then and John, recently you started doing a series on, well, what is one of my core favorite things, and that's movies. Like, I love movies, and you're doing these the director reels, and you're doing now tunes. It's like you're branching out. You're doing some cool stuff. Welcome to the show. Congrats. Yeah, we've been trying for a bit now, and I'm glad we have this opportunity. It'll be great. Um, so this guy does not need an introduction because I think we've all talked about him during the intros already. But Kevin from Rogue Deck Builder, who is often a guest on this show, on this channel, and has been very kind and very nice to me throughout my career as a YouTuber. But for people who do not know who he is an owner of Gone Rogue Games in Utah. He's also best known for his market analytics videos, which you've also started a new channel, specifically on MTG Finance. It's called the Rogue Market, right, Kev? Yeah. Oh man, EDH. Like I like EDH, but boy, is it so time consuming. All right, so let's go ahead and get into our topics, and let's just have some fun with this. We're gonna talk first. We got three things I want to cover. We're gonna talk about Guilds of Ravnica. We're gonna talk about Guilds of Ravnica Mythic Edition. You know, that crazy silly booster box that they're selling that nobody can get and everybody's getting refunded on. And we're going to talk about changes to tournament magic. And I kind of want to make it an interactive conversation because I think there's a lot of different things to unpack with the tournament changes. So let's first talk about Guilds of Ravnica. My first question, we'll start with Kevin. Obviously, we know you've played the set. So my question starting out is, have you played the set, which I know you have, and what is your initial thoughts from the limited perspective? Hold on a second. Looks like strange. People are saying that. Hold on a second. Looks like strange. People are saying that. Hold on a second. Huh. This is strange. Oh, technical difficulties. Huh. Somebody speak on your end. This is strange. Yeah, I can hear you. Technical difficulties. Huh. Somebody speak on your end. This is strange.
Say something. Can you hear Coach?
Hello. There's probably like 2 people in the chat.
How about now?
Wow.
They say we can't hear Coach, John, or Rogue right now.
Really? I just turned it on. I can hear everyone.
Yeah. Hold on. That's a good idea. Maybe the person that's saying this needs to turn up their volume.
John or Rogue right now.
Really? I just turned it on. I can hear everyone.
See, I could hear.
Yeah, I could hear. Yeah, I could hear all of us. I'm watching the stream too.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I just tested it too.
So Style Fullest, maybe turn up your volume, bruh.
Okay. So, all right. I'm not sure what happened there, but we'll move on. So, yeah. So 10 out of 10 for Kevin on Ravnica Limited. John, what do you think, buddy?
Dude, this has been. Can I say the F word?
Sure.
Okay, cool. No, this is. I just maybe not. I didn't have one saved, for future reference. But no, seriously, this brought me out of paper Magic retirement. Just like Ravnica in general is, and you could ask Coach. Like when we all kind of found out about it, I think that was like right when we did our first episode of 10th Street, and we're all like, want like. Oh God, we're just retreading water, and I think that was a lot to do with the hangover from Innistrad, how they kind of screwed that up, and how they kind of screwed up Zendikar, in my opinion. So when it was announced that we were already going back to Ravnica, I was extremely, extremely worried, and like especially the way in the package that they sold it, they had that horrible video put out by WotC that was just like the cringiest fucking thing ever.
Oh God. Yeah.
And then they're just like, so what's different this time, ladies and gentlemen? And it was literally, oh well, it's fall in Ravnica. You could have pumpkin spice lattes now. And it's like, oh my God, no! Like stop. It's like Michael Bay directing Transformers movies. I'm like, can you guys please stop screwing up? Like, what is perfect about the game? Like, go screw up another plane. Like, yeah, go put dinosaurs and bullshit in Ixalan because Ixalan sucks. But then you put in. Don't leave Ravnica alone. Hashtag, keep Ravnica pure or whatever. But it turned out to be absolutely amazing. I went to midnight pre-release. I had an absolute blast. Demir is just, Surveil is just as good as advertised. And I think that the one criticism that I have is that it just feels like if you're not like drafting or playing in sealed at least, Demir helping out Golgari or helping out Izzet, like in that kind of shell, then you were kind of doing it wrong. Yes, there was like some strong Naya builds, but really it's like Surveil is so good, and so because it's just better scry, and it works so much better with Undergrowth and with whatever the other Jumpstart, right? Like it's just like a perfect complementary piece that it's just so synergistic, but it's fantastic. I haven't really played since the pre-release, but I hopped on Kevin's stream the other night, and he was playing. You were playing standard, and you were having some problem with like those Krull Javeliers, and I thought that was just like the funniest thing ever. But I mean, it looked like your deck was sweet, and it's just like, this is when Magic is good, when Ravnica's around. For whatever reason, they put all their eggs in the basket, and you could, there's going to be, I feel like there's going to be a great, control deck, aggro deck, and mid-range deck. I kind of hope that we're going to get a good Reanimator deck as well. That remains to be seen. I don't know. But then it's only going to get better when the next set comes out, too. So for whatever reason, Magic is just at its best in Ravnica.
And, we don't have Kaladesh anymore, right? So there's that, too.
No.
Yeah.
No.
That's what I'm saying. It was just like miss after miss after miss. So I'm like, oh, God, now they're going to miss on Ravnica. But thank God they are like, it's impossible to miss on that, because it's just the formula works, right? Like,
right.
Yes, you are kind of on rails, but it's not on rails like a Lorwyn or something like that, or an Ixalan even. It's I don't know. It's just rich, and they did it right, and they took their time, and it feels like it wasn't rushed out like some of this other crap. But yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it.
What about you, Coach?
Assassin's Trophy for the win.
Look at you.
That ass trophy. Assassin's Trophy. Yeah.
Assassin's Trophy. I've only played with probably a few cards with, like Ravnica. Like I've been playing around with like some of the counter spells like Ionize and like that Doom Whisper I got not too long ago. I've been trying to debate whether to get like maybe build something that includes that Impervious Great Worm with that 16/16 and with Convoke.
Oh yeah.
And just build like a shitload of creatures, and here's a giant behemoth. Like good luck. But I haven't really played too much in like a standard, but it's more like EDH. But I think it's been pretty good so far. I'm still waiting for the second set, so I could build around either Azorius or Orzhov. So those are especially now more Azorius than Orzhov, because I started off in black and white colors when I first started Magic, but wasn't in this set. So I'm waiting for either one of those color combinations. But overall, it looks pretty good on my end for the limited amount of stuff that I played online. Nice.
I mean, like, speaking of Doom Whisperer, is that card really legit? Like, that card is $18 right now. Like, seriously?
It's up even more.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh man.
You seem kind of underwhelmed by it, Kevin. Like the other night when I was watching you.
I like Doom Whisperer. I actually think it's really solid. It's 6/6 for 5 mana, and it's in certain decks. It's got some nice little combos with it, with the Dimir Spybug and the Thoughtbound Phantasm. So I don't know. I think that most people just like it for its body. It's kind of like what was the one out of old school Ravnica, the 6/6 for 4 mana, but your opponent could sack a creature. What was that one?
Oh, Desecration Demon?
Yeah, it feels kind of like that. Just a nice little slot, throw it in, and they have to deal with it. Otherwise, it's a quick clock. It blocks Steel Leaf Champions. It blocks Lyras. It's a very, very solid card at the moment.
Yeah, I think the 6/6 body is very relevant, especially in Standard, even more so in Limited. Yeah. I mean,
Limited, yeah, nothing even comes close to it. Limited. There's a 5/4 flyer, and it just laughs at that. So
I'd like to go around the room and kind of just talk about, one of the things I like doing is looking at the set and sort of identifying what is that one card that I just want to build something wacky with. Like, and we'll start with you, John. Is there a card in this set that you've seen that you're like, I want to build around that card?
Oh man, there's a couple. There's a couple of commanders that I'm really interested in. Like I kind of want to make Aurelia work, just because I'm always trying to make a Boros commander work, even though it's just kind of like even if you try to get cute with it, it's just going to be kind of a boring Boros deck. Lazav looks kind of fun. I'm a little bit underwhelmed by Lazav, although you can do some pretty broken things with it. And of course, 1,000-Year-Old Storm is just stupid. So that looks like a lot of fun. I want to build, like, to be honest, like when I don't play competitive standard really. Like I just like playing budget F&M like jank, and I think there is gonna be some kind of play there because like back in original Return to Ravnica, I had like a really sweet Unleashed deck that was actually pretty competitive. Like stole some games with it, and like the same thing with like a black-red colorless Eldrazi like aggro deck when that came out. Now with this, I feel like there is some kind of unfound like Dimir aggro with Surveil and those damn bugs. For some reason I think those Dimir spy bugs are just way stronger than they should be, and I think that there's some game there with those spy bugs and like Kevin was saying, the like Doom Whisper or something like that. I know that's not quite budget, but you throw in some of those Phantasms as 1 for 2/2 walls or defenders with some maybe guild mages. I don't know. I feel like there is a legit like black-blue aggro deck that's gonna be sneaky good at like an F&M. Am I way off, Kevin? Because you're like the brewmaster here.
Dimir Surveil, what I like about the is to the one set, they printed enough of the mechanic to make it work. So Convoke has plenty of Convoke cards. Surveil has plenty of Surveil Mentor. Like what we've happened in the past is the first set we're like, okay, when the second and third set come out, maybe we can build a Surveil deck, but it's already there. And Surveil's hasn't quite put up the numbers like some of these other ones, but it's definitely legit right now. So it's a
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about
Put
that on the package? Kevin Rogue Deck Builder says, meh.
Yeah.
Make one of those theme booster packs with that card in it and just be meh edition. How about you, Coach?
Well, John said Aurelia. I kind of agree. There's got to be something we could build around Aurelia. There was another one that I wanted to try, and that was something simple like a very maybe a fast token-ish deck. I'm looking at Amara right now. I'm trying to think what I could build around like Amara, especially with the soldiers. Like make it like sort of a tribal-ish kind of deal, since it's a cheap commander right now, or cheap cast cost commander at the moment.
Even for standard, Amara seems pretty good with like a little aggro token strategy with some elves and stuff. I know someone else did a video about that already, but I mean, it seems like that could have some play to it too.
Yeah, I think once December comes around, I want to start getting more into standard. But and again, standard's always like, I need to look at more devs videos and see if there's a like budget version of standard decks that I could try to get into, just have some fun at least without breaking my entire bank account.
I actually do think, and Kevin, I don't know if you'll agree or disagree with me on this one, but I think we're going to be in a wave of standard that will be much less than it has been in recent years, with like say the Kaladesh and the I don't know, maybe not just because there's less cards, but I don't know. I just feel like this standard could end up being, there's going to be a lot of different budget decks that will be like tier 1.5 that could actually do some really good work.
I'm winning with a no rares budget deck right now.
Oh.
So I'm thinking about playing on a budget back. Oh, speaking of second channel, I'm starting a third channel.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no.
Specifically MTG decks. And then I'm going to have other people also putting decks. And one of the things I want to do with that is possibly bring back like the playing on budget stuff. So yeah, budget's very it's feasible right now. There's no
doable.
Real boogeyman like you can get me ranting about Sea Live Champion. Hate that card so much. I wish it didn't exist. It's bad, but it doesn't stop people from playing it. And it just to me it warps how green is being played right now. And I'm not a big fan of Settle the Wreckage or Teferi. Like, I think there are some cards I'd rather not have in Standard because I think they're on their own power level above everything else. But all in all, so far Standard, even the decks that are starting week 1, week 2, that are starting to come out, they seem like they all have major holes in them, exploitable holes where you can build a deck that can beat it. It really reminds me of Return to Ravnica Innistrad. And I think that TC Player wrote it. He does a series, I can't remember his name, one of the big writers at TC Player, about his favorite standards of all time. And he actually ranked that one very low because of Thragtusk. Yeah, Thragtusk was a thing, but it wasn't like... It was actually helping the format not just get run over by mono red aggro.
Absolutely.
Like it played a good role. I don't think it was a negative. It wasn't Siege Rhino. It was, Thragtusk was just a nice, solid card. It made it so that mid range could compete. And when mid range can be the deck, if everything has to revolve around Thragtusk, and now everything has to revolve around Lyra, it is the wild, wild west of what you're able to play in Magic, all the way from budget decks to rogue decks to wacky combo decks to anything. Anything can go. And I haven't seen a deck that's just like, oh man, this is going to get out of control. And I could be wrong, but yeah, it looks good. It looks very promising.
It's so crazy because even with Thragtusk in the format, remember Naya Blitz could go under it sometimes, and then Esper Control or even Jeskai Control could go over it. So it was
Angel
it was
Reanimator.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was so balanced back then. So yeah, I don't know. I don't get that.
There was like 25 decks, and it seemed like it was a different deck on top every week. It wasn't just Thragtusk. Yeah. And that's it. We're starting to see like week 1, Boros Angels just came out. The very first MTG result was just Boros Angels. Then the second one was all about Golgari midrange. Now we're mono red aggro. And so, okay, what's the next one going to be? Because mono red aggro has massive holes in it. It's not the aggro of the past. It's not Beaumont Courier into Hazaret. It's a lot weaker. So
let's go Surveil.
Well, I'll tell you this though. Like, I've been testing Boros aggro angels, I guess you would call it, because I'm using I forget the name of the card, but it's the 1/1 bird that gives you lifelink, and using the mentor ability to pump it, which is pretty sweet. Gets it out of Chain Whirler pretty quickly. But I do find that the new mono red is got a lot of holes in it, as well as Boros. Playing it, it's a good deck, but boy, does it have some bricks. And I'm not sure if it's the deck, and I don't even think going back to your comment about Settle the Wreckage, I don't even think that card belongs in that deck. And I haven't seen a lot of people actually play it recently. I think that they need some sort of silver bullet versus mono green. I personally think mono green is the worst deck right now, but it's not stopping people from playing it. It's a very easy deck to pilot. You get rewarded very quickly when you can go turn 1 Elf into turn 2 Steel Leaf Champion into turn 3 something else, and then drop Galta. But I think it's going to start getting broken apart, and then people aren't going to be needing to play Settle the Wreckage. So I've been testing. I've been testing Jaya's. Jaya's Inferno with it, and actually it's been pretty decent.
Yawgmoth's Bar. There are a lot of cool cards from Dominaria that just never could compete with Kaladesh that I think are going to start seeing play. Look at what's the Mirage Conjecture. I'm like, wow. Oh yeah. Why aren't those all spell decks running that? We're starting to see Fight with Fire decks. I'm like, remember that deck? It was almost playable.
Almost.
But couldn't stop Hardacran, so that went to the shelf. And then Yawgmoth's Bargain, or Yawgmoth's. Is it called Yawgmoth's? No, not Yawgmoth's Bargain. Yawgmoth's, the legendary sorcery that reanimates something and kills something.
Oh yeah. What?
Karn isn't seeing a lot of play right now. It's I think that the format is so wide open for people to find the right list, the right numbers, and I think it's again, when Lyra is this big scary card, that's a good place for Standard.
Yawgmoth's Vile Offering.
There we go. Yeah, there's a lot of just the power levels there. People forgot about them because of Kaladesh. Even going back to the Ixalan tribes, a lot of those are going to get supported. Rakdos will help pirates. of course, Gruul will help dinosaurs, and I think that we're in for a hopefully a really good standard. But
you guys think there's any play to that Yawgmoth's Will type card that just in Dimir colors? I forgot what it's called. It's like kill all the shit or whatever, but it's like it looks like a Slayer album cover. It's got like the glowing skull with the thing. Basically, you get to play all your opponent's graveyard until end of turn. It's basically a Yawgmoth's Will, but for your opponent's graveyard, I think.
The mnemonic betrayal.
Yeah. That's
there. You go.
Well, here. Since we're on the topic, since you were asking Coach and
there we go,
John, you want my bucket list of things I want to accomplish, and now people have already beat me to them. So I guess I'm gonna have to scratch, because usually I get a top 10 cards I want to brew around out quicker than this, but I've just been busy with other stuff. I want to Star of Extinction Truefire Captain. We all got to do it, right? Conley Woods already did stupid treasures into Thousand Year Storm, so he beat me to that. I wanted to build a Thief of Sanity tempo deck. That's going to be gone. Beast Whisperer. That's another card that I think that just has a lot of potential to just snowball.
Yeah.
It's the one that draws a card. Speaking of Surveil, that was on my to-do list. Build a Doom Whisperer Surveil deck and then go pseudo-infinite by making Thoughtbound Phantasm or Dimir Spybug with enough life go, big enough, because you can activate Doom Whisper as much as you have life left.
Yep.
Azur's Gate with Mnemonic Betrayal.
Yeah.
That is on my to-do list.
My man.
Cast all, like, what was that card out of Khonsa Tarkir? Villainous Wealth. That was one of my favorite cards, to do Villainous Wealth ramp and then just use all my opponent's cards against them. So Mnemonic Betrayal, I think, goes great in like an Azur's Gateway control, and then eventually you'll have enough mana to cast everything out. Speaking of Reanimator, John wanted a Reanimator deck. My goal is to reanimate Lotlith Giant. So nice. I think it's what is it consign into? No, what's the it's a 4 and a 5 mana split card. The first one gains control of a creature with power 2, and then the 5 mana reanimates a card. Surveil 3, then reanimate. Can't remember what the card is, but that's the go-to reanimate so far. And I think Lotlith Giant works perfect with that in a Golgari self-mill strategy.
What about the mono black reanimate 3 card?
Yeah, Gruesome Menagerie.
Yeah.
Already beat us to it. There's actually a tier card now. People have started playing Gruesome because it's great to get back either a Stitcher Supplier. There are so many 2-drops that have value, any of the Explorer-based cards, and then 3-drop has a lot of good targets like the Plague Belcher or the Plague, the 3/2 new.
Yeah, the Death Bag or Marauder kind of thing.
Yeah. And Gruesome Menagerie is definitely on my to-do list of trying to that is such a Kevin card if there ever was a Kevin card, because that was Ral the Ancestors. And number 1, I'm going to make Art Like Phoenix work. It's going to happen, and I kind of have some more nefarious purposes for making Art Like Phoenix happen, because I may have the largest share of the card next to big vendors. I might own like 200 copies of Arclight Phoenix. I wasn't even drunk.
Oh man!
So I'm trying. I'm trying to get that work, and then that's on my short list of stuff I want to do. But there's a lot of fun cards that haven't really been explored. And like I said before, the best thing is to go back to Ixalan and go back to Dominaria and look at all the cards that were almost like we just came out of an insanely hostile standard where you had to beat Heart of Kran and you also had to race Scarab God.
Yeah.
And then or Teferi. So that is how every deck had to try to build the deck around. Again, now it's Lyra.
Lyra is hard to get rid of off the board. I mean,
sort of, but I mean, it's not nearly the threat that the Teferi is. It's not nearly the stabilization that the Scarab God is, and it's no Heart of Kran. It comes out on turn 5, so the standard's great as far as options.
True. So my card that I am going to bring to a PTQ at some point, and we'll talk about competitive Magic soon, but Niv Mizzet. I'm doing a Niv Mizzet deck. It's a shit card when it comes to mana cost, but I don't care. I'm going to do it.
I died to Niv Mizzet at the pre-release, and I loved every second of it.
I mean, it's a hard... I mean, 3 red, 3 blue. Come on, man. What were they thinking? Like, seriously. What is with that mana cost?
Mana. It's Ravnica. You have perfect mana.
Oh, God. I mean, like, it's just... Why did it have to be 3 red and 3 blue? Why didn't it could have been like 3 red and 2 blue? Whatever. I don't know.
You have steam vents and sulfur falls, right? I mean,
Yep.
True. And then you get down to like 16 life just to cast the stupid thing.
sure.
All right. So let's. Oh, go ahead, Kev.
Why do I start with Desolator? Can he literally go check MTG Goldfish and see what the number 1 play card is? But it's hard.
Oh man. All right. Let's move on to if you had to give, and Coach, we'll start with you. If you had to give so far what you've seen of Ravnica, a letter grade, what would it be? Like we'll do the Tolarian Community College route. Like, what do you give Ravnica?
Like, I don't know, because mine's probably like not the best one to go with, because I'm probably the one that played the least. But with like a Assassin's Trophy, when I'm seeing like, one of my favorite cards that I've, weirdly enough, that, as far as non-creature spells, especially in Commander, was Vindicate. Just something that destroy target permanent, freaking anything, just blow up anything. Like I've used that card so many times to blow up a land, and my opponent is like, okay, they miss land drops or whatnot, or if they can take out a big creature. So like Assassin's Trophy, I like a couple of the Planeswalkers on here, like I think Raul Zarek, I'm like and I'm very biased towards, the Planeswalkers. I mean, I would give it, from what I have, probably like a B+. So like, and still like, for me, like I wish we could go back to Tarkir, because that's where I started with and like completely fell in love with it. So I miss like the all the different tribes and like the dragons and stuff. But
Sure.
as far as with what I played, probably a B-,
So-
and it'll probably be higher as the more I play it.
So the level set, like, what would be your A+ set, like that you've played previously? It doesn't have to be like accurate or in depth, but like just trying to get like a level set of what do you think an A+ set would be or is?
Well, with the stuff that I played, I really liked Dragons of Tarkir. That was a super fun set. Dragons and Cons. Fate Reforged was not bad. The big card I really liked on there was Ugin. I mean, that was always a fun card. And then for me too was like Battle for Zendikar. I really liked when Gideon came out, and I was always trying to build around allies, and then Eldrazi Winter like was a thing.
Got it, yeah.
Especially for like modern. So, I liked, if I were to put my most recent sets, and there's like cards that I'm like real big into from certain sets, like Shadows over Innistrad, for the most part, to me it was okay. But the card that I like the most, like Sorin. Sorin was always like my fun card to go to, because I could play Sorin and Gideon in like the same deck, and that was always fun. But if I had to put my best 3 that have so far I played, was probably Dragons, Tarkir, Cons, and probably Battle for Zendikar. And none of really the more recent stuff so far.
Nice. How about you?
But I think, I think like this has, as the more I play, I think I'm gonna start liking it a little bit more, because I've never played like a true Ravnica. Like I've never had a Ravnica set come out when I've been playing. Just like everyone talks about Ravnica, so I mean, I still gotta explore it more.
No, that's fair. That's fair. How about you, Kevin?
I would say nostalgia is going to take place. I either say either Odyssey or Torment. Like that time period still had a lot of fun cards. It unfortunately was sandwiched in between some pretty broken eras of Magic, because then you had Mirrodin coming out not too far after. Like I said, those were some fun times. A lot of tribal cards. I was young, Magic was still the whole fantasy part of it was still fun.
You weren't jaded yet? Yeah.
Yeah. Recently, yeah, I don't know. And as far as when I got back into Magic, I still really liked Innistrad Dark Ascension. Those were good, really balanced sets too. As far as limited environment, they were great. It felt like even as that, like I hated the Avacyn Restored though. But as far as triple Avacyn Restored was miserable, but double Innistrad, single Dark Ascension, I even felt like when that was finally going out for triple Avacyn, it was still wide open. People are still figuring out different ways to play it. So, yeah, that's definitely a good nostalgic time as well.
So where would you put? So if those are your A+ times, where do you put Guilds of Ravnica as letter grade? Do you feel?
Well, right now it's an A compared to kind of the. I mean, Dominaria. I couldn't stand Dominaria Limited, and I couldn't stand Core 2019. And Ixalan was horrible too. So Rivals Rivals didn't add anything to Ixalan. It even made it more messy.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. But even if you go a little bit further back, like a lot of people didn't like Aethervolt. I did. And Amonkhet was a great sealed or limited environment as well. So, yeah, recently compared to the at least it's in standard, it's the A set.
Nice. John, how about you, buddy?
Yeah, I would give this one a solid A. It's not as perfect as I think Return to Ravnica and Gatecrash to me got A pluses. It might just be because that's when I really got back into limited, and I just it was just perfect. I have so many fond memories, so like Kevin said, maybe it's the nostalgia thing kind of playing on it. But, I mean, this is definitely an A set for me. Tempest is another one. I love Tempest. That's probably my favorite set of all time. I loved everything in that block. And then, again, right afterwards, you got Urza's Saga, which kind of screwed everything up, just like Mirrodin did a couple years down the road. But it's just, I mean, like I said, it just makes for whatever reason, it just makes for a more diverse standard draft environment. Everything just kind of clicks, and you get to see a bunch of different decks. It's not just, and there's some very underrated formats. I think Theros was a great. I had a blast with Theros standard. You had control decks. You had mono blue for a while. Mono black kind of took over, and that was the boogeyman. But I still like ripped through tournaments with like a Azorius heroic, and I thought that was so much fun with big scissors. It's like when else are you gonna equip a big scissors? But it was just, I don't know. This set is definitely just Wizards brings their A game when Ravnica is involved. I thought that was the case when Innistrad was involved, and then they just completely shit and diarrhea that bed, and I'm still very like salty and bitter about it. Kind of the same thing with Zendikar, although I didn't hold Zendikar like as highly because I wasn't playing. That was when I kind of took my break. I didn't play like original Zendikar and Rise and all that. I heard it was a great limited format. I kind of wish I could set back the clock and participate in that, but I couldn't. But I thought the limited was fun. I thought Battle got a little bit more shit than it deserved. Was it great? Was it even it can't even hold Ravnica's jock as far as that goes. As far as just like the quality of the set. But yeah, I think definitely A. Close to A+. We'll see what happens when the next set comes out. And then we'll see what happens when the third set comes out and Nicol Bolas ruins everything and we're back at Amonkhet again or even like Shadows again. They're just going to screw everything up.
Yeah.
But at least we're going to get these first two good sets before it's just a shit show for the third set.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think I really was excited for Dominaria. I know, Kev, you weren't, but I was excited for it. I did well in it. I also did well in Rick's Limited as well. I don't know why. It just kind of just melded with my deck building style. But Ravnica, like at first I was kind of like, but now I'm really, really loving it. I'm like I'm putting it in an A speed right now as well, because it's just it takes. I felt like it took Dominaria's playground or sandbox type building, and kind of took it to the next level, and actually also gave us guilds for it. So I think it's really cool because you could, even though it's two color guilds, you could still go do 3 colors like Sultai and so on and so forth. Like you there's some flexibility there, especially with guild gates replacing basic lands. So let's move on to the most controversial Guilds of Ravnica conversation, and that's the Mythic Edition box. And kind of just to level set with everybody who may or may not know this exists, Wizards of the Coast / Hasbro decided to release a Hasbro exclusive booster box that contains 8 Planeswalkers, and it's 24 packs, so it's basically the same thing as a Master's box with 8 masterpieces in it, right? So it's meant for draft, and nobody's going to draft this, but it's a product for people who want to spend money. The MSRP retail price on that is $250, and it was a complete disaster for people to order online. However, you can get it from GPs, or some of them that are limited right now, or sold out. But basically, it was a lot of people call it a cash grab. A lot of people say, oh, it's not a product for me. Like, why am I going to pay $250 for 8 Planeswalkers? But I'm going to put this out there. And I think a couple things is, I think you're going to spend, I think the SDCC, the San Diego Comic-Con Planeswalker set, right, was, I think, what, $170 for just those 6 Planeswalkers. You're getting 8 Planeswalkers here, as well as their alternate art, full art, whatever. It's for people who want to spend the money. And what I think is interesting is...
That's a puppy.
What's that? Oh, that is a puppy.
Sorry.
Puppy.
I got distracted by the cute dog.
She must be being bad because Zach just threw her in here.
Uh-oh.
Sorry, Chris.
No. I mean, it's a puppy. We have to talk about the puppy, right?
Well, yeah, we're also playing with the chat right now because Des is just Desolator's just trying to take over the chat.
I'm trying to be nice because it's not my show.
Yeah.
I'm really trying.
Yeah.
Man, he called me the idiot on the left. Dirty.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're the idiot on the right. I mean, come on.
Dirty.
Well,
About to get fucking 10th Street hooliganed up in here.
Uh-oh.
You're going to need like 7 more beers for that one, son.
We're not going to karaoke that one, are we? No, let's...
He's just like, I'm trying to correct all the stupidity.
Oh, man. So anyways...
Sorry, Chris, you were trying to have a show here.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
You know what? This is what happens on live streams, right? Shit just happens.
God, that dog is so distracting. So adorable.
So I'll just wrap this up. And
I'm gonna throw her down because she got sprayed by a skunk and she's
Oh,
still stinks.
Ew.
Oh no, that's not good.
Yeah, she's not very adorable.
Yeah, that's okay.
Ted's on the chat now.
Oh,
Ted said we can't sing, and I have to listen to him because he's my boss.
Oh, okay.
Dang it.
All right.
Damn it.
Oh. Well, no, that's good for me because I don't.
I guess-
apparently I died it. We both died in the music video, so.
I guess he wants it that way, huh?
Yeah.
Chris is never inviting us back on. Coach.
What?
Hey,
No, are you kidding me?
I warned him of why you would have both of us on there. And I really tried, and
There we go.
Chris is
No.
Push the flesh, Kevin. Push the flesh. Get those clicks.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh. Okay, so let's get back on track for a sec. Hi, doggy. All right, so Mythic Edition. We'll start with Kevin, and we'll kind of just go around and talk about this. First off, here's what I kind of want to accomplish in this conversation. Do you like the idea or do you hate it? Do you think? Oh, go ahead.
So, first I was pissed, but have you seen Corbin Hostler's theory on it?
Yes.
I think he's right. I actually think, and I think that the way of trying to distribute these mythic boxes also kind of shows that he's right, because I don't think they're prepared for it. I don't think even Wizards can promote that bad unless they weren't prepared. So, anyway, to people that don't know, but Corbin Hostler believes that these were supposed to be promos given out at HasCon, and then HasCon was canceled. And so they had to, okay, how are we going to do this? Oh, let's just throw them up on the toy shop with some other packs and call it a Mythic edition box. And so after I heard that explanation, I was less pissed, I guess. But it's fun to watch them bubble it. It's, because this is you should own a store and deal with Wizards of the Coast. It's a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare. Like, distributors sometimes can get things wrong. Other places we purchase things from, Wizards just they've bumbled one of our pre-releases where we didn't get our pre-release in time. So I mean, it's like I've had nothing but bad experiences working directly with Wizards. So, but anyway, as far as the Mythic box is concerned, I just think that it was that like makes sense to me. I think that they wanted to do something splashy for one of their conventions, and it fell through. And we got all these cards, better do something with them.
And he's kind of an inside guy too, so there might be some truth to that.
Yeah. I mean, I think, and the next question to that is and we'll continue around this, but like, will they continue to make products like these? Like, do you feel like they will?
Did it make money? Yes.
Yeah. I'm sure it does.
I don't know. This could be a massive loss for them because you got to think of the logistical nightmare that it's causing. All the people they had to contact. I mean, those are employees that are on, pay like hourly wages that had to then contact everyone about their shipment, not being able to ship off their stuff. It's going on eBay now for what, $400 to $600 I've seen them go for, which is a big, kind of black eye for that. Maybe Wizards will try to have a better plan next time. And obviously they saw the power. That's the bad thing. They saw how quickly that sold out. So maybe they will do it again based upon that, but they better get their T's crossed, their I's dotted this time.
Yeah, and to dovetail on that, and the last thing I wanted to kind of point out is, despite the technology challenges, like what Hasbro faced with this, like, and I'll pose this to chat and everybody in this room is, would you consider buying this type of product, and why? And like, Kev, I know probably you wouldn't, but like, if you were just and if you didn't own a store and you had extra cash to burn, would you want something like this?
Saying, well, I can't stand foils, so that's you're definitely you're asking the wrong person. I'm a functionality, not aesthetics person.
All right, so John, we'll if you need me to repeat anything, let me know, but we'll go ahead and move on to your answers.
Initially, I thought it was disgusting. I thought it was just dumb. It didn't even feel like it wasn't a WotC move. It was more of a corporate Hasbro move. It was like a couple guys, because I think there's some new people up there, right, in the decision, in like the boardroom. So it felt like a bunch of people, corporate America, kind of sitting there smoking cigarettes and being like, how can we push the numbers? How do we keep Insuricare in the black this year? It just felt really gross and slimy. I think one of the best takes to counter that was from Ristic Studies, Sam. He said something like, he's like, I'm a guitar collector, and there are guitars out there that are worth, $500. There's guitars out there that are worth, and I'm totally paraphrasing Sam, but this was kind of the gist of what he was saying, that are worth like 20 grand. So, some people that aren't, this is not for someone like Kevin, because Kevin, like he said, he's not in the aesthetics, he's more into functionality. But there are definitely people, especially that play more of those Eternal formats, like Legacy and Vintage and stuff like that. They want, it's another feather in the cap, right? To not only have a foil version of this very expensive card, but now it just adds layers and layers of exclusivity that some people really dig and some people really go for. So and now it's kind of a head scratcher what Kevin said about what Corbin said, because I know he's kind of inside. He doesn't work for Wizards of the Coast, but he is kind of in that group. So will they do it again? Absolutely. If this makes any money, absolutely they're going to do it again, and they're going to ramp it up. And I think that they like you guys said, they underestimated it. The want for something like this, and they kind of half-assed it. But when they do it again, not if, but when they do it again, they're going to be a lot more focused on it. And then they'll do it like 2 or 3 runs until people bitch and complain enough, because that's what happened with the whole Masterpieces thing, right? It's like, yes, these certain people, like the Magic community is funny. They want these super ultra, exclusive items, but then they just bitch and complain and to WotC, how dare you do this, until they finally just say, this just isn't worth the headache, and kill it. So I think they'll do it again a couple more times. I think they'll be more efficient at it, but I don't think it's something that we really have to worry about. It makes me, it's very reminiscent to the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. Just now they're selling directly from Hasbro, so the money just goes right from the print machine right into their pockets, and cutting out the middleman. That's the scary thing, right? That's the thing that we're worried about. We're worried about the Kevins of the world, or the LGSs of the world, of how much Hasbro, and I do stress Hasbro, because I don't even think WotC has really anything to do with it. Maybe they're the high ups. They just want to. They see how much the secondary market is doing, and they just want to kind of rake in more. I've been in some of these corporate board meetings in my past job, and it literally is, what can we do to make an extra $1? What can we do to make an extra 5 cents? Like an extra nickel, a million times over, is a shit ton of money, and this is what it feels like they're doing. So right now it doesn't seem, it does seem slimy, but it's just the seed that they're planting is what I think we should be worried about.
And then, would you consider buying this?
No, fuck no.
Yeah. So we got 2 no's. We got 2 no's. Coach, how about you?
$250. You know what I bought with $250? I bought me, and behind y'all, I wonder if I could show. All right, so another Cribs episode, men, if I can do this correctly. All right, so right there. Okay, that was $250. Y'all know what that is? That is a 3D printer, son.
You're so proud of this thing,
dude. I am. Okay, if you look at the other one, which I'm actually printing the miniatures that I made for Kevin, and that was less than $200. And if you add all the plastic and stuff, that was like $20 per pound. So here's the stuff that I'm showing you. All right, so D&D. Okay, here's my character that I have. Here's some of the people I'm giving my DM. There's like literally, if you look at right behind that backpack. Okay, let's see. Okay, there's all the crap. That's all the stuff that I'm building right now or cutting up. And then Kevin's, obviously, since he's a rogue of some sorts, making a little pirate man. He's got a little pistol and a little sword.
So basically, Coach does not want to buy the Mythic edition.
Hell no. I would rather buy. And I was telling my kids this morning. We're in class. It's like, if I were to really start any business, it would revolve around 3D printing, because there is so much potential in that area. Like Zachary's an electrical engineer, or he's about to be an electrical engineer. He's got a senior project. I'm literally building parts of his senior project. So I'm making custom parts for him right now that he's about to use.
Hope his professors aren't watching this.
Huh?
I hope his professors aren't watching this.
I don't think they care, because like, as long as they get the job done, and they're their team paid me in was they bought me a 1 kilogram spool, which is 2.2 pounds. It was $20, and half of it is already gone, because that's how dense the part has to be. So it has to withstand certain temperatures and certain weight. So their stuff should be done by like next month. But yeah, I'm printing like custom parts for them, and then I'm printing like these little miniatures, which it costs me, when I get the file, probably in just material alone, it's probably around 5 to 10 cents. And then if you add electricity, it was probably double that. And so it's really not even that bad. So I could literally sell these uncut. I'll sell them to people for like 40 or 50 cents and let it cut them themselves.
You could print your own Mythic edition Ravnica.
I could for probably about $6. So,
so what do you think of the idea of it though? I know you wouldn't buy it, but the idea of it for people who would like that sort of thing as far as collectors and so on and so forth.
I mean, people are gonna like people. There are people that are gonna like that certain thing. People like, crazy stuff all the time. I mean, it's like which I think, like the Eternal Masters, Modern Masters, where those higher up sets, that was kind of a nostalgia deal, and that was also kind of a little bit more expensive set with 24 booster packs. And it's something that some people buy. Some people, it was probably out of their price range, but it's something people are going to buy. I mean, Wizards is not completely stupid.
Right. If
it makes them a quick buck, and they're going to ride that train for as long as they can until they find a new idea. So, I mean, if that's a business decision and it works, if they know it's going to get money, I mean, people are going to buy it. It's just crazy how some of this stuff works. But me personally, I would not buy it because we're talking about in the grand scheme of things. I know we're talking about a Magic channel. I know for sure we're talking about Magic. But there's just some stuff where I wouldn't pay. Like, I think the most I've paid for a card probably ever from a store was maybe about $15. And if you count the Gideons that, like a playset of, to finish my playset of Gideons, I paid for my Gideons and like trading in cards and getting those Gideons in like store credit. So I've paid maybe $15 to $16 for like a card. Like, I don't want to spend $30 on a card. I could spend that money like literally on anything else that would be useful. That's for me. That's like 3 or 4 days of food. I mean, there's literally other things I could put it towards.
That's a whole lot of
yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole lot. That's like 2 days worth of the 50 piece nuggets.
But that's nuggets and condiments.
But hold on. But let me
for
put
like
it
2 or 3 days, dude.
But let me put it in a different perspective. And Kevin, really quick, what is the MSRP of a Masters box?
Of the Guild's Ravnica Master box?
No. Sorry, a Masters, Masters 25,
so
Iconic Masters. What's the real retail price?
230 something to, is it 239 or 2? Yeah, it's somewhere around the 240s.
Okay, so
that's what it comes out to.
So MSRP of a Masters box is 240. This box is 250, right? 249.99. So I think in the whole hindsight of things is I think of it this way: is you're guaranteed to get these 8 planeswalkers in this box, and the limited print, like these are obviously limited print. Well, limited print, we don't know yet,
until they're not. Yeah,
until they're not. But each box is guaranteed to have these 8 planeswalkers, right? So let's just say, worst case scenario, like I think right now Teferi is selling for 180 or 170 or something like that. Let's just say Teferi at worst is $50 each. Each one, all the other ones are say $20 each. You're talking about, close to almost $200 of value guaranteed in each box, right? So I think one of the things that I look at is as far as value versus what you get out of it, and you don't get the Master style lottery ticket of, I'm going to pull a Tarmogoyf, or I'm going to pull Ugin, or whatever it's going to be, right? But you're still going to pull that value, and I think although it's only going to appeal to certain people, and you have kind of like this stigma of it that it's a cash grab, I don't think it's much further out from buying a Masters box. That's just my opinion.
It's a luxury item. People are free to put rims on their car.
Right.
Yep.
That's
right. Okay, so for the interest of time, let's move on from that, because I think we all have understood that it's a bad idea, but it's probably going to continue. I want to talk about tournament Magic, and before we go around or before we talk about this, Kevin, I know you run a store, so you hold tournaments. I don't know. Do you do PPTQs at your location?
No, first of all, we don't have a judge in the area.
Okay.
So, and the judges that they all want to get like paid travel and paid time. Like, so that's the biggest hang up there.
Okay.
So,
Okay. And you don't participate in PPTQs or anything like that anymore on paper, right?
I haven't been to a PPTQ in 2 or 3 years. I kind of after when's the last time I competed? It's been forever. Like actual wow, it's been since cons. I would say cons, yeah. So I mean, in fact, all the GPs I've been to have been limited, so I haven't even had to play constructed in quite a while.
Okay. And how about you, John? How far do you get into? Do you do PPTQs or anything like that?
No, purely casual. There was a moment in time where I thought I was going to be something, and then I quickly found out that I just am not that good at competitive Magic. So, and I just don't have time and the resources to keep up on that train. I'm not saying I'm a fairly decent Magic player. It's just if I were to, it's just not what I want to do. Right. Yeah. I like talking about it more than like stressing about it.
Hence why I do the history. And
sure.
Hence why I do like the stats of like past performances and try to see collectively some patterns. Like right now, like right after I finish Dissension, I want to do like a color breakdown of like the stats and maybe like do some commonality so that way people have a better idea if they build around a certain color of what they like must put in. And I think that would give a better insight to, I think, all of us, like how we play. So I'm just trying to think of different ways to like have a different approach at like building around Magic. Cause I think numbers, you know, a lot of times, you know, looking through old stuff like that could definitely help. So I'm going to build a whole series around that. So hold on to your socks, gentlemen.
Hold on to your butts.
Yeah. Gonna be a bumpy ride.
So competitive Magic is it's a brutal mistress though. It's I mean it's the story that really got me. It was I can't remember the gentleman, one of Travis Wu's friends that he was on like before he made his first pro tour, he did like 30 plus PTQs. And you know, scrubbed out, and finally after 30 plus made one. See, I was lucky. I won the very first PTQ that I played in, so it wasn't. And it was kind of it was just one of those things that I wasn't even planning. I didn't think I was gonna win. I had store credit left, so and I was moving from the area, so I thought I better blow the store credit before I left. So anyway, but if you've tried to play like me personally, it's rough playing competitively, especially making a trip down to somewhere. Like an 8-hour drive for me is usually Denver, Phoenix, LA. It's all going to be eight plus if I go there. Then you have to get hotels, and then to get Magic is a variance game, and a lot of times it's out of your control. I mean, one of my last the Dominaria sealed that I played in. I'm like, okay, I got this. I got History of Benalia. It was like a really good white green, had an awesome curve, had plenty of removal in it. Sit down in my first matchup. The guy was a Fight with Fire with 2 Chroniclers, and Fight with Fire was his win condition. And it was all removal. I don't know how in the world that person had as much removal as they had, and it perfectly answered my deck and lost 1-2. Then I sit down on game number 2 and played up against a 4-color deck that was playing a bunch of cards with double black, double red, double white, double green, and I was the one that got mana screwed. Couldn't hit my white source on game 1 and my green source on game 2, where my opponent's dropping double red into double black, no problem. And so Magic's frustrating when you get the variance, and that's what kind of got me out of competitive play more than anything. Is mainly location. If I had places to play close by, then I'd probably hit a lot more tournaments. But there's nothing more frustrating in the entire world than preparing for a tournament, making an 8-hour drive, getting hotel rooms, and then scrubbing out on things that are out of your control.
Yeah,
so.
for sure. I think, and in the effort of time, because I want to wrap this up in less than 15 here, but basically, Wizards of the Coast is making a lot of changes, right? Like, so they're getting rid of PPTQs, they're getting RPTQs. To be very honest, from my perspective, somebody who did 23 PPTQs last year, thank freaking God. I think this system needed a revamping tremendously. Now there's some changes that I really I kind of take pause and I kind of take a step back for a second, because this is another blow, I think, to local game stores, and I don't know how the trickle-down effect is going to sort of affect some of these. I've been trying to get information about the application process, and it's right now it's kind of like a hush-hush, and not a lot of people know a lot of information. But the thing is basically they're going back to the PTQ system, where basically all of the qualifying events now are no longer PPTQs or RPTQs. They're straight in, and you qualify for PTQs. The challenge is this: you need to be able to hold an event that is at a close to either 100 or 150 person cap. So how many stores have you guys gone into that can accommodate 150 people? Like, I feel like there's not a lot. Like, in my area, I think there's 2. And there's about 40 stores in my area.
Yeah, Utah, they used to rent out a place. When it was one PTQ per area per Pro Tour, and now there's no limit, right? It's just whoever can hold it, they can hold it.
Yeah.
Is that how they're doing? That's crazy.
Yeah.
How are the pros going to react to this? Because one of the reasons it changed the RPTQ was a bunch of butthurt pros that felt like people were getting on. Like me, I was called a one-shot luck type person. But I think that's actually good for a game.
Yeah.
Kind of the Chris Moneymaker effect. If people are poker fans, poker took off after Chris Moneymaker won the World Series of Poker, because he was a Cinderella story that just won a random online tournament and then took down the largest tournament to, up until that point, was basically the same pros were winning it over and over and over. And then
if you get the same barflies, then there's no progression. Why would you keep tuning in to see the same 5 people?
Yeah.
Well, and Magic is rough like that, because once you've made it as a silver pro, it's so much easier just to keep re-qualifying for everything, because you're getting a lot of your expenses paid for. You're getting invites to tournaments. You're accumulating pro points going to all those. I mean, at that point, you have it's just so much easier to get on the train. I remember when Conley Woods lost his silver, or lost his be able to it took him forever to re-qualify again. Mm-hmm. And it's because, again, you can go through a lot of horrible variance streaks, or just Conley Woods has a specific way to play. He's not very good when there's a lot of meta choices, like that you have to play a meta deck. He's good when you can find a brew, and it was really tough for him to get back on the Pro Tour, and he didn't last long the last time he was on there either. So I don't know. I like these PTQs. Yeah, there's not a lot of stores, but they're just gonna have to rent out. All the ones in Salt Lake, they used to rent out like a little event center that was close by.
How about
up in Seattle now? That's my view's a little skewed, because there's everything is here. All these places could hold events that size. But when I was down in Vegas, I think it was down to 2 shops maybe that could hold that, maybe down to 1. I mean, and that's in Las Vegas. That's a pretty big market, especially for for the Magic community. There's a lot of big pros there, so it's just doesn't seem like it's gonna be a sustainable system.
Yeah,
really.
I played a PPTQ or a PTQ in Vegas, and we had 100 plus. And,
what store was it?
Oh, so it was in. I'll have to figure it out. It Now, name off some stores and maybe I can tell you where it was at. But I mean, we had every floor. It was completely packed. And I think what they were doing after, they were bribing, not bribing, that's not the right word, because it wasn't bribery, but people that had a couple losses, they were just asking to drop so that we could, have some breathing room.
Yeah. Was it Power 9?
No, it had a comic store name, I believe.
That's the last place that I remember,
and it wasn't
being the size to accommodate that kind of a crowd.
It wasn't in Vegas itself. It was I want to say it was in Henderson, or I don't know. I'm not very familiar with Vegas. Yeah, I think you think I should be by how many times I go there, but it's always on the strip, and I never get outside of it much. But yeah.
Speaking of going, I'm calling it now. I'm going to GP Vegas this year, just so you guys know. But it's kind of funny. I think about it this way too: is with PPTQs and RPTQs gone now, I find myself scheduling my sort of my events next year is more GPs, and so I think this is a very interesting idea, and I don't know. You guys call me crazy and tell me what you guys think, but if people are not able to go to stores for PPTQs and RPTQs, and very few stores to go to PTQs, so many freaking acronyms. But anyways, we'll get into MagicFest in a second. But how stupid is that name?
Action Comics. That's what it was.
Oh, okay.
Action Comics. There you go. Do you guys think that this will affect GPs in a positive way, knowing that there's a downturn right now, apparently, in GP attendance as far as the competitive side? Like, I'm curious from an outsider's perspective for people who don't go to competitive events, but like just even outside logistics sort of perspective. We'll start with you, John.
Can you repeat the question?
Was there a question there?
Well, from an outside from an outside perspective, right? Like, will GPs positively be affected in this way of local stores and having fewer tournaments to go to? As far as an outsider point of view, like, do you feel that this would positively impact GPs or have people go to more GPs?
So are you talking about like the thing that MagicFest is replacing, basically, right?
Yeah.
So what I think they want every event to be GP Vegas, and maybe putting that dumb moniker on it as MagicFest. Yes, it's dumb, but it's like, it's whatever. It's the Warp Tour, right? It's whatever they're trying to push these events as more of, they want you to think about it other than just the tournament itself, because they want to attract more cosplayers, they want to attract more artists, like Artist Row, maybe more art shows like they did a couple years ago at GP Vegas. I think that's where their heart is in this whole thing, where it's just like, yes, a GP is coming to town. Well, that verbiage sounds very competitive. It's just like, oh, okay. Do you want to go to, GP Orlando, or do you want to, or hey guys, hey kids, MagicFest is coming to town. You want to go check out all the cool things? And then I think that's where they were going with it. The name's dumb, but I think the name is serviceable to what they're trying to transform it as. Do I think that's going to affect players showing up? No, I think the tournament's still the tournament. So I think they just kind of changed it in the structure of it to attract more of the like bystanders, and they want more people showing up for side events and just for the festival of it, right? Because you're not just going to go and spend money. If you're a tournament grinder, you're going to want to spend a lot of money on ancillary things and peripheral things. So that's my take on it. I could take it or leave it. I think that, like, as far as GP Vegas, the one that I went to a couple years ago, it definitely is that. It felt like a convention. It's more of like a Comic-Con than a Magic tournament. And I just think that they want to kind of like, almost like a tell don't show in like the movie business. You use the term, show don't tell, or whatever. But you want this is just kind of spelling it out for the idiots, so to speak. It's just like, no, come show up to our thing because it's an event. It's not just a bunch of people sitting at the table playing cards.
Yeah, and that's a fair point. Like, and that's where I was trying to go with that. Like, it's like, again, this MagicFest thing is kind of more of, again, that more appealing and more a sellable item than a, say, GP is. And yeah, I totally totally on board with that, and that makes complete sense. All right, Coach, 2 minutes or less. What do you think about the changes? MagicFest, anything? Do you have any comments? Do you think it's just ridiculous?
Not really, because like I have still not been to a GP. I know Kevin's been wanting us to go to a GP Vegas or some large for like the longest time. I know on my part, I'm trying to work it out so I could finally see you good old boys. But really, I'm not too familiar with like GPs and such. So I really can't comment a whole much. And the thing with the PPTQs, I've been to one PPTQ. It was actually like really weirdly close. Probably about 30 minutes away from my house. And that's when I first actually was playing I was playing that Orzhov Warriors, and I went like 3-2, or I played 5 games, went 3-2. I did okay, but that's really the only experience I have with these other, PTQs and GPs and all that. I just want to go I just want to go to a GP to kind of just see what the environment looks like, and just, people that go to them, it looks like they seem, for the most part, to have like a lot of fun and meeting new people and all that sort. So I don't know. I really don't have a lot to comment on that.
How about you, Kev? 2 minutes or less.
Okay, so I like the change. The name was, of course, a bundle. A blunder. They should have researched it first. That's Magic for you. They can't do anything right as far as even searching a name before they make a big change to their convention. Do I like to change? Absolutely. I had a customer come in and I tried to talk a little Magic, like, "Oh, do you see Tulare Community College videos?" He's like, "Who?" I'm like, "What?" Did not know the largest YouTuber and didn't care about the pro scene, didn't care about anything. And say, all right, okay, Magic needs to tap into that. Magic needs to have an event that isn't so spike central, that doesn't have this big hoorah around tournament, that doesn't have, and also when they're talking about like the pro tours now being at these events, yeah, absolutely, that change needs to happen. When I went to my pro tour, it was a ghost town on day 3. No one even cared to stick around to watch their fellow competitors play out the top 8. I was like, me and a few other people were there. It was like maybe 24 people. Everyone else was out enjoying San Diego because everyone was sick of Magic at that point. They need actual fans to let into these things, and there needs to be an actual convention surrounding the pro tour, not just competitors a place to play. So absolutely, try to establish all these things that are if people are into cosplay, have a convention. That's where they go for cosplay. I know What's His Bucket's been doing a lot, like Sam and his. I can't remember the art guy. Vorthos Mike have been doing a lot of art shows. Yeah, that's absolutely. That's the thing that I'd like to see more of. That there's more to do than just compete in Magic, especially in a spike way. Because I'm sick of the spike culture. I'm sick of the pro scene. I'm sick of the kind of the turn up to the nose to everyone else that plays Magic. They think they're so important, and they're not.
Yeah, man, I agree, and I'm so glad that we got that out there. Because to be honest, I think there's a lot of different perspectives to this, and I think you guys definitely hit it on the nail. And I agree with you guys. Everything that you guys say, I agree. I even think all the way down to the nitty gritty that the actual tournament structure needed to be changed. So I'm all for it. I'm happy that the changes, albeit whatever, leave the name. So we're gonna wrap this evening up. I want to thank my guests, Kevin, John, and Coach, for coming on. You guys were awesome tonight, and we're going to do this more often, and I want to have a lot of fun just talking about things as they develop. Any parting words, John, Coach, Kevin? Anything else that you have to say tonight? No?
Not that I could think of. Just
all right.
You want to do the whole pluggy plugs, or?
Oh, dirty.
Yes, please plug each.
He's gonna show his content.
Wait, can we plug each other's?
Sure.
Oh,
just keep it short.
Me, Kevin, at the Rogue Deck Builder on Twitter. You could also subscribe to my YouTube channel, Rogue Deck Builder, where I am over. See, I want to just feel important. I'm over 30,000 subscribers strong. You can check out my second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth channel, soon coming, where we talk about Magic cards and have a cute little puppy. Did I do a good job?
Yeah, that's perfect.
All right.
Let's
Can't beat
see.
that.
I am John with the channel They Said We Said, and I'm trying to get Coach on for a third time on the Hive Mind besides that 10th Street hooligan bull crap.
Wow.
You can find me on the channel They Said We Said.
On the show every 2 fucking weeks, this guy.
And you can also find me at Orsoff Dunn on Twitter. So I think I did an okay job there.
Yeah, just slandering our show, but yeah, that's great. Kevin, you got
what
Coach?
I do, buddy. That's what I do.
Yeah, the Coach. You can follow me at the Card Bazaar CC. The Card Bazaar CC. Was the Card Bazaar already taken?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's that. Weirdly enough, it was that Sydney-based card place in Australia, and so it was like, yeah, Card Bazaar official was like taken. So Card Bazaar Corpus Christi, or short for CC.
A cease and desist. You know, the funny thing is that I just googled the Rogue Roundup and the Rogue Market. Wow, those are two established already like things. The Rogue Roundup's an alcoholics convention.
There we go.
So yeah,
That seems about right.
So yeah, follow the Coach and also go watch the Coach's awesome historical videos on, if you're into lore, from the good old days of Magic when lore was good. Make lore great again.
Yeah,
Dude, it's about to hit 50,000 like in the next few days. So
Nice.
I don't know what the hell is going on. It's like it's starting to pick up a lot more than usual.
Well,
So
thanks again for joining me. Thanks to the chat for joining us. And you all have a great evening.